Okay, well, thank you so much for agreeing to do this. I really appreciate your time here, and I appreciate not only your generosity with the interview today, but also your generosity every single week, almost every single week on Instagram. I really appreciate how thoughtful you are with your time on those Q&As. There's just so many things about those that I wanted to take in a slightly bit more detail. So I thought that's what we could do here today. Um, so just I want to start with like the first. I basically started this channel as a way to uh, see how explain basically how I liked so many different styles of music and how it all made sense. And I realized that was the first thing I wanted to ask you. Starting to see some pictures of your record collection, I said, "Oh wow, this is just like mine." Where it's like if a stranger walked in, they'd say, "This makes no sense at all. How do you make sense of all this?" Um, so I wanted you to talk a little bit about that, and then I thought maybe a way to start would be, what was the first genre or style that you really fell in love with, and then what was the next, like where did that take you next then?
Okay, what style did I fall in love with as a listener?
Yeah, like how did it evolve, and then the second half is today, like how do all the different styles in your record collection, like how does that all add up for you now?
Oh, wow. Well, I would say, I got into music very young, and I was exposed thanks to my parents and my mother's older sister and her daughter, who used to babysit me when I was little. And this was up in the Cleveland, Akron area in the early mid 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And I became immediately attracted to the rock music of that era, Black Sabbath and Uriah Heep and Deep Purple, Aerosmith, all that kind of stuff. And my cousin, she actually took me to an Aerosmith sound check in the early mid 70s. I think this would have been like 75 or 6. And it kind of blew my mind. And it was a huge part of what, really made me think, oh, I'd like to do that.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
And then my mother's older sister, this my cousin's mother, my aunt Doris, was a country and western musician, and she played a lot of gigs locally and occasionally traveled, and she had a huge Wurlitzer organ and played guitar, and so I always had a fun, banging around on the Wurlitzer. And so yeah, but I would say, to answer your question, the first part definitely hard rock, things like that. And then as my mom remarried when I was around 9,
Mm-hmm.
and she was married to a man that really had a wide variety of music in his collection, and turned me on to just a world of music. And
Yeah.
yeah, it was made huge impressions, changed everything, you know.
So I've seen like well, definitely a lot of love for, well, we share a love, for example, for ECM records, stuff from like Chick Corea and Return to Forever. And then I also see some beautiful recommendations on the classical side of things. So I said, man, this is just wonderful. I just love your taste. But that
Thank
definitely
you.
explains a lot of it. So what when you're just when you're not working on your projects or other projects, what's like a go-to genre or style, when you're just relaxing or take a break? I kind of got an idea from some of your posts, but does it change? Do you find that it changes up, or do you kind of gravitate towards some of the similar choices each time, or
Well, yeah. I listen to a lot of I like a lot of acoustic music, finger style guitar music, obviously classical music. I love rock and roll, as a listener. I like that feeling that rock and roll gives me, and that sort of freeness and you know, I really like that as a listener. I don't necessarily want to make that music. But, you know, when you spend hours and hours, as I do in the studio, it's nice to have contrast and to have a different way of, you know, just a different mindset, you know, as the listener.
Right, right. But you're actually bringing a bit of that in on your new album because you have the acoustic guitar on there, which I thought was just really, I love it. But it was so unexpected after a lot of electronic music. Then to have an acoustic guitar, it was just really wonderful. I love that. So you are bringing a bit of that you know, variation in there.
Yes. I spent many years as a professional guitarist in different formats and kinds of music. And, you know, I spent many years as a jazz musician playing
Sure.
keyboards and drums. So I spent a lot of years really understanding other instruments and other ways of application and trying to communicate with, just trying to communicate, you know, it's all
Sure.
different
Sure.
musicians and different listeners.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's really beautiful. Well, on that topic, as a nice transition, I was hoping you could talk a little bit, as I previewed to you, about music education. So that's been a really hot question with my videos because, like I told you, I went to Berkeley, and I'm still wrestling with the question of whether it was worth it, or you know, could I have gotten the same experience on my own, etc. And I really struggle with the question when people ask me whether I'd recommend it or not. And I would really love to hear your input on that, as you know, you're just, you know, wildly successful. You have you know, just such an amazing output of work, and did it, you know, all on your own, and it's just really incredible. So I was hoping you could talk a bit about, you know, maybe the pros and cons that a potential student would be considering with music school, and like some of their other options.
Well, I would say this: if you have the opportunity to go to music university or any sort of musical vocational school, private instruction, anything like that, it's like anything else in life. It's, you get out of it what you put into it. And I my dream was to go to music university. And so I rigorously worked myself as a young teen. Just, I missed so many summers and missed lots of chances to be a kid, I guess, in certain ways, because I was just so in love with music. And I wanted to understand music, and I wanted to be able to have a sort of personal nomenclature. And I could see that as my deep intention long before I got to it. But I knew that it was going to take a great deal of dedication and bench time and study, and you know, I just grew up in a very, you know, poor area, and just it wasn't in the cards. And you know, I got started, but then I hit the road and I never went back. And so, I mean, but the thing is it's all about people and the people that make lasting impressions on you. And I didn't get all of my knowledge or skill or flavor just by myself. I got that from exposing myself to extremely wide variety of different musical educational demographics, whether that's putting myself in a situation that I had to gig and to, you know, sink or swim, or work in studios and learn from people who are 20 years my senior and just really absorb and not give them resistance, just try to really absorb their methodologies and their ways and their wisdoms. And, you know, you can take or leave any of it depending on what your personal intention with music is. And that's the beautiful thing about music, is that it's still one of the few free thinking ways of living that still exist. And it's really up to however someone wishes to shape it for their own, you know, personal taste and what's in their heart, you know. So, but, you know, knowledge is power, and knowledge gets you there faster. And I highly recommend, if anyone has any possibility to go to music university. I don't feel that it's a waste of time. I think that is the time to go and do nothing but dedicate your life to the possibilities of the miraculousness of music.
Wow. It's that was such a wonderful answer. I hardly know how to even react to it. I love that. Well, yeah, I agree with everything you said, and in fact, that was, you know, one of my biggest takeaways from Berkeley. Actually, wasn't really any specific thing I learned. It was just being introduced to a ton of composers that I think I probably would have never discovered without having a professor say, let's, you know, listen to this excerpt now. And so it was really, you know, it's like my CD collection grew exponentially, and I don't think it would have on my own. So that was, you know, very valuable for me. Um, on that topic, I'm curious if you have noticed any change or potential for change in traditional music educations, where as we've, you know, really been focusing on in the last year, you know, all the systemic racism and problems in our society. And I know, at least for my music education, it was very white. It was very European. It was very, you know, it was just very narrow. And I talked to peers from other schools, and they found it to be the exact same. That, like, you know, like, all of music is basically just Mozart and Bach, and there's very little else. And I was just curious if you are seeing, like, kind of like a turning point now, that, you know, that maybe the curriculum is going to start to change, and we see more of a broader overview of, you know, like the true, you know, total of cultures that really affected today's music. I think it's starting, but I think it's going to be a long process, and I was just curious for your thoughts on that.
Well, I think it really just comes down to what the curriculum is. And it comes down to people, and it comes down to the kinds of people who are running the operation. And you're going to have people that are, you know, some people are very open-minded and very expanded with different kinds of demographics of people and different cultures of music. I mean, that's what music is. It's culture. And it's an opportunity to time travel to many different cultures. So why not include every kind of, you know, thing that's worthwhile? And that's many colors and many different destinations of decades. And, you know, there's so much. I mean, I got so deep into R&B music in my early 20s, you know, that I veered off and became, you know, that kind of musician for a long time, just to really absorb and feel those kinds of musicians and to understand the intention and the taste behind it. I mean, in terms of my own personal experience, you know, it's just, there's all sorts of, there's great inspiring people, and there's people that are less inspiring because of the way their attitude is about people and life. And, you know, I've dealt with tons of discrimination and all sorts of stuff, but, you know, it's just, you know, get out of here. You know, it's like, you know, it's just, you just go to the universe will provide you where you need to be. And I feel that, you know, thanks to 25 plus years of the internet, that there has been more awareness and education of different cultures and different levels of importance and intensity of many different kinds of music and social, just the whole thing, you know. It's just become so much more a matrix than it used to be. And I think that's great. I think it's important. That's how the next music will evolve from these times.
Yeah.
You know,
beautiful answers, man. I just love this. I really love your insight. On education, I learn a lot every week from your Q&As, and I'm curious what prompted you to start doing those, because it's just really a beautiful community involvement, and I'm just curious how that started, and yeah.
Well, I guess I just took advantage of the format.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a pretty shy person,
Oh,
you know, even though, you know, believe it or not. And so it was a great opportunity to, you know, just have a communication and a circulation with just, you know, my listeners, the people that listen to my music, and the people that are interested in my process. And I wanted to find a way to connect with them and accommodate them that felt real time, even if it wasn't, you know, and it gives me a chance to do it in a way that's pretty darn convenient, you know,
yeah.
than just going and traveling and having master classes and things like that. And, you know, not everybody can afford to, um, you know, hire me to do a master class with them or to do any sort of, you know, one-on-one education. So I try to, like, I feel it's important for each of us to give a little bit of something to the community, which now is the whole world, because, you know, the internet is the community. You know,
Right,
that's where
right.
everybody's at anyway. You know, so you might as well get in there and you know, give people an opportunity to see your transparency and to see what you're really about. And honestly, I learned a lot about music and music technology by this communication, and I get inspired by, you know, because I mean, for every 100 answers that I post publicly, there's another 150 plus in my inbox from
Sure.
each time I do them.
Sure, sure.
Sometimes more than that. Sometimes, you know, I've started on a Saturday and not finished till Tuesday, you know, and you know, it's really worth it because
Yeah.
I feel like I have, you know, a little bit closer connection with, you know, the people that are into the same thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I agree. Well, and we're all. It's just really nice to be able to share, you know, because, like, for example, here at the venue I'm at, we now have SSL boxes, thanks to your stories, and you know, we're just thrilled, and so, you know, I'm learning, and everyone's learning. It's just really a wonderful thing you're
Always.
doing. Yeah.
Yeah, we're always a student of the art. At least we should be. You
I
know, that's
think
the best
I
way.
think it was John Cage that said something to the effect of, like, the problem with music is you never learn everything about it.
That's
So,
it.
and yesterday I was the one that asked you if you've seen this new Mode beer. It's brewed in Chicago, and I'll be in Chicago tomorrow. I hope I can find some, but I think it might already be
What is
sold
it
out.
again? I'm
It's
sorry.
a Mode beer. I think it's like
Oh,
I think it's an IPA, or it might be an APA, but yeah, I don't know. It's not like official, but it's certainly fun. It's got, I think it's got
sure.
I think it's got a Model D on the label, like a drawing of it. So it's cute. I love it. The last question I had for you today was, just generally speaking, I see a lot of material, because, you know, I grew up playing acoustic instruments, and then I was very interested in pedals, and then, of course, synthesizers, and I have a small, you know, beginners collection, but it was I find a lot of resources available for very beginning topics, like this is what an LFO means, this is, you know, very very simple topics, and then it jumps, like, to, you know, rewiring, or you know, resoldering your circuit board. And I find, at least from my experience, and I've heard from a few others, that there's kind of a lack of material for in between. And I was wondering, just in general, what you could say, or offer for those that are, you know, past the point of beginning synthesizer terms, but, you know, not ready for, like, the complete, you know, really advanced level, like kind of something in the middle.
That's a great question. I mean, I would just say that get as much literature as you can, watch as many YouTube videos as you can, if that's, you know, the way that you learn, whichever way you learn best.
Sure.
You know, take a master class. There's a lot of people out there, I'm sure, that if you hit them up and say, hey, how much an hour to just learn some of your process, learn some of these things that you're doing, that's really what it boils down to. You know, when I was a jazz drummer, I hit up a lot of drummers that I idolized,
Sure.
and I wanted to learn their practices, and I wanted to learn their habits. You know, I wanted to learn how they could adapt themselves to any musical situation and still continue to be an individual. So the same with learning synthesis, and it's such a huge, you know, there's so many ways to go about it, and there's so many different formats to learn. So, I mean, it's all kind of the same in certain ways. It's all just, you know, the art of the signal path.
Right.
But there is a lot of different languages that come with that because of the different manufacturers and the different formats of synthesizers and the limitations versus the synthesizers that have everything and all of that. So, I mean, there's no real easy answer that I could offer
Sure,
other
sure,
than
sure.
just you got to get in there and you just got to put in the hours. I mean,
Do you expect to
all I
resume?
can say.
Do you expect to resume master classes when things reopen?
I certainly hope so. I
Great,
would
great.
love to, you know, get back. I miss traveling and I miss being, I miss that circulation of being in the same room with people. And
Yes.
I get so much from that too, more than just, you know, going and earning a living.
Right.
It's a great, you know, I bring back so much when I do come home and I'm working on something or I'm thinking of something that happened during any particular class, you know.
Right. Right.
And I love to connect with students and to make myself available to them and give them a sense of, someone's someone's got an eye on you.
Yeah. Beautiful. I love
And
it.
that's important. That was
Yeah.
a huge building block for my own musical development in my career, is
Yeah.
those kinds of people along the way.
Right. Right.
So I
That's
hope
wonderful.
so. I'm
Great.
ready.
Yeah, well, we're ready too. Before you go, so you have a very prolific Bandcamp. I love those releases there. You have a brand new, and it's your first vinyl release, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wonderful. And I know the Clear is sold out, but do you have black copies still left, right?
No.
Oh, they're all sold out. Okay. All right. Very good. Well, all right. So
Sorry. Yeah.
well, that's great for you. That's really terrific. I'm so happy. So I hope that means there will be more vinyl in the future.
Yeah, there will.
Wonderful.
Hopefully, Behind the Sky Records, and we're definitely going to do some more work, and hopefully a new album this year, and
Great.
definitely, if not, they're interested in releasing some of my back catalog. So
Beautiful.
a couple of the albums that did real well,
Yeah.
will definitely see the
Beautiful.
light of day on vinyl through them, and their attention to detail and quality is really a real pleasure, because
Yeah.
it's important. And
Absolutely.
who knows, we'll see. I might do something myself at some point too, just to do like, some of the really weird music that I like to make. I'm really where I'm at right now is
Wonderful. That's the thing.
composing very tone row based music and avant-garde, music concrete. I just finished up an album of really awesome deep music concrete. It's not for everybody by any stretch, but
Well, I'll be bold
for
and
me.
say the person that it is for is me. I love the tone row and music concrete. I just absolutely love it. So, oh man,
I have one coming up. I have one coming soon. It's going to be entitled Nyctophilia.
Wonderful.
And it is, has a sonata for 20 tones on it. And it's a good mixed bag. It has, 3 extensive pieces, and it was a really great challenge. It was such a thrill to get to do and to realize. And it's a real gift.
Approximately, when do you think that will be? Within a few months, or?
It'll be soon. It could be this month. I have to listen to it a few more times and make sure that it's complete. It's not going to be for everyone. But
well,
it is,
I love this.
Fans, for fans of,
Yeah.
Elaine Rodriguez and Xenakis, and it's hardcore,
Beautiful.
But it was all analog, no digital editing, all analog edited. First time I've done like a full concrete edited album in many years. So,
Oh, so you were like splicing up the tape and everything too.
oh, yeah.
Man. Oh, wow. Oh, man. You just made my whole month, whole day,
Yeah,
whole
so,
week, whole month. I'm so happy. Oh, man. This is going to be incredible. Well, that's the beauty about your work, is that there's truly something for everyone, no matter what they like. I think your catalog is so far reaching that there's something really for everyone. And I
I
love
try.
that.
It has to be honest though.
Yeah.
I can't just do the kind of music that makes people clap and that's all that.
Right.
I have to I'm very seasonal with my composing and where my my personal barometer is.
Yeah. I just want to say, lastly, that your advice has really helped me tremendously as a composer. I noticed one of your most asked questions, it seems like, is what to do when you're stuck. And when I first saw that, I said, "Oh, so it's not just me. It seems like we're all stuck." And then I kept seeing that question show up, and I said, "Oh, this is a serious problem with all of us, I guess." So I found your advice of just really sticking with it, and starting every day anyways, whether you're feeling like, I really used your advice, and it has really helped me a lot. I have actually been able to get back into the swing of things, and really made some progress. So I thank you for your advice on that, because it works. I can say it really helped me a ton. So
Well, you have to remember that everything's temporary,
yeah.
and even the times that feel so definitive and dark. And, I've had some of those, I lost 3 really good friends in a month this year already. And it really kind of caught up to me and very much humbled my own mortality and existence. And,
Sure.
and really, really kind of stopped me in my tracks, and really made it hard to be creative. And when being creative is, how you pay the bills, that can really be a challenge. So
Right.
you have to just take a long, deep breath and find where your gratitude of things are,
Hmm.
and just keep trying another way, each
Sure.
day,
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for this really inspiring chat. I just really
uh,
thank you so much. This is one of my best interviews ever. I can safely say
thanks.
that. Any answer you give is really eye opening. So I hope to see you on the road somewhere, and I really hope that we can make a masterclass happen some point. So I'll be in touch about that for sure.
And you're still in Boston?
No, I'm in Indiana now, during
Okay.
the quarantine. Yeah, there's a beautiful art center here in northern Indiana. It's about 70-ish miles east of Chicago, so it's really a nice place. And
Wonderful.
unfortunately, I think the next time I go to Boston, I think I'm going to see literally nothing I recognize, because last year, just every day, one by one, another venue closed, and all of those old hangouts. I think
Man.
all but like one or two are totally gone. It's really sad. But I think maybe there's enough energy that something new will start again. But yeah,
That's
the
how we have to look at it.
yeah.
We're in a constant we're in a big sweep of weeding things out in our culture and our country.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we have to be faithful and hopeful that and ready
yeah,
to help create something new.
absolutely.
It's up to us. It's up to us
Yes.
to create it now. So
Wonderful. Oh man. Oh, okay. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. It's really thankful. Thank you so much.
my pleasure, Matt. Thanks a
All
lot.
right. Have a
Have a
great
great
day.
day.
See
You
you.
too.
See you. Bye.
Bye bye.